So I heard you want to get good at fighting games, don't you? You think these controllers will be enough? Ah, nah. Forget about those. I'll build you something real nice. Something good that'll get your job done. Now we have this. Ooh. In this video, I'll show you how to make one of these for yourself for less than $100. That way you can get good without breaking the bank. Hell yeah, brother.
We're gonna start with a cheap arcade stick. In my case, the 8-bit do NES-30 arcade stick, but you can also get the Mayflash F300, which is the exact same case. We're doing this because buying a control board and a case would be way more expensive than just buying one of these and gutting them. We'll need a pair of scissors, a screwdriver kit, a Sanwa JLF stick, 6 red Sanwa buttons, a new Balltop, 2 black Sanwa buttons, a joystick connector cable, and some electrical tape. While there are other alternative parts to use for this project, I've gone with the Sanwa buttons and the Sanwa joystick because I know for sure they will fit in this case. Now first we'll want to open this bitch up. To do that, you'll see there's a big bottom plate that's attached with 6 screws, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Now with the screws out of the way, we'll have to pry it open. I just used a screwdriver and wedged it in between the back plate and the casing and pried it open and then did the rest with my fingers, which worked alright. Now that we got the arcade stick to spread her legs for us and we can see inside, I'm going to undo some cable ties with a nail clipper just to get them out of the way. You can use the scissors as well, it's fine. We're just going to unscrew the 4 screws attaching the joystick mount to the casing first, and then we'll go from there. Now, to remove the joystick from the casing, we're also going to have to remove the ball top and the dust washer. You can do this before unscrewing it too if you want. You just stick the screwdriver in the screw on the back of the joystick, and then you'll be able to hold it tight while unscrewing the ball top. You can also reuse the old ball top, but I chose to go for a red one instead because I like it more. That's why. Fuck off. I don't need to explain it to you. So now that we have the joystick loose from the case, we can see it's still connected by a bunch of white wires. 4 of these white wires are grounds and 4 of these are directional communication wires, which each go to a micro switch, 4 in total that are on the joystick. It's important to remember what way your joystick was oriented in the case because you'll need to know to figure out which wires go to which micro switches in the joystick so you can wire it up correctly. If you want, you can mark the top side of the joystick with a marker or a piece of tape or whatever, but I'll just be able to remember it in my case, so I won't do that. Now, first thing I'm going to do is mark all the ground wires going to the stick. This will make my job later significantly easier. You can tell which ones are the ground wires because they connect to the bent connector pins on the joystick. Next, we're going to mark the wires that tell the controller what position it's in. And to do that, you can just hold up the controller and push the joystick in the orientation you expect it to be and see which switch it hits. This is why I got a set of multicolored electrical tape, but really you can mark the wires with anything you want as long as you keep track of which one goes to what position. We're also going to grab our brand spanking new Sanwa JLF arcade stick and connect the cable harness to it. It's pretty easy, you just push it on there until it clicks into place. And even though the sticks might look quite different at first glance, the way they function is pretty much identical. One just has convenient color-coded cables coming out rather than unmarked white ones. Now we'll start marking our white wires for the directional inputs. So we'll grab our colored tape, take a careful look, and start marking our cables. In my case, I used yellow tape for right, green for left, I used red for up, and then I used blue for down because I don't have any fucking orange tape. And that way our colored markings match up with the new joystick. And now that we've carefully marked everything, we can start clipping off the wires. Now this part is a pain in the ass because we're gonna have to strip all these tiny ass wires. For that, just take your scissors or clippers or whatever you have and carefully cut into the coating of the wire, and then carefully peel it away, exposing the bare wire inside so we can use that to make connections later on. Now that that tedious part is done, we can grab our new joystick with the fancy color-coded wires. Now, since I made sure to color match them earlier, all I have to do now is match up the colors, twist them together, and cover it in a bit of electrical tape right after. Now, while I didn't record that part, for the ground wire, all you have to do is take all the black labeled cables and twist them together with the black cable coming from the new controller. Now that we're done connecting all the wires, we can go ahead and plug in the controller and give it a spin, see if everything's hooked up correctly. If at this point you made a mistake and you labeled something wrong, it's no disaster. You can just pull the wires apart again and go through it with trial and error, and it shouldn't take you that long to figure out. But in my case, everything is daijou bu. Now that we have the joystick working, we can work on trying to get it back into the case, which can be a little bit tricky because of all the fucking cables coming off the thing. But with the right amount of bending and wiggling and struggling, I'm sure we can get there.
Pajama time. Come here, little kitties, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap? And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child molestation accusation. No worries, what else could I possibly do to make noise? I done touched on everything.
Now all that's left to finish off the joystick is the dust washer, the stick sleeve, and of course our brand new bright red ball to top it all up, which we'll put on the same way we took it off, which is sticking a screwdriver in the back to hold it tight and screwing it back on nice and tightly. Okay, now it's time for new buttons. Let's go! So I got 6 red buttons and 2 black ones just because I felt like it. You can really get any color you want, it doesn't matter as long as they're Sanwa buttons. These are Sanwa OBSF-30 buttons. You can see they look very similar to the buttons already in it, but there are some key differences. So to take the buttons out, first we have to slide up the little cable sleeve. It's just a clear plastic cable sleeve on it. Just slide it up a bit, and then we just pull the connectors off one by one. That's all you do. And then to get the button out of the case, there's 2 press buttons on the side. You can see them right there. You press them in and you can push it through out of the case. And now it's time to put our new black button in. After you've clicked it into the case, you can grab your cables and connect them back to the connectors on the new button. It doesn't actually matter where the connector goes, either is fine, it just needs to close the loop, just so you don't panic about if you got the right cable on the right connector. Now all you have to do is repeat this step 7 more times for the rest of the buttons. As you can see when you hold the buttons side by side is that on the old buttons the connectors are offset, while on the new Sanwa buttons they are horizontal from each other.
Alright, stop. Pajama time. Come here, little kitties, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap? And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child molestation accusation. No worries, what else could I possibly do to make noise? I done touched on everything but little boys.
guess we're all done. Well, time to grab the back cover and screw it back on. And then pat yourself on the back for completing Babby's first hardware mod. Hell yeah.
Hey you! Yeah you! If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to see more of this content, please leave a comment below to tell me. Thank you! Also, check out our Patreon!